Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to a tutorial, surprisingly enough. I normally learn as I go during my episodes, but I had some time to kill and a problem to solve, so I figured what the hell, I'll just make a little tutorial. This is an iron tank, and it is full of lava, but it will hold anything, water. I think it'll hold like seed oil and what's the stuff that comes from the coke oven? Whatever that stuff is, creosote. It'll hold all of it. I pumped this lava here through a waterproof teleport pipe, a phased waterproof pipe. Well, the SMP server where I play, there are no phased waterproof pipes, and after Feed the Beast updates with Red Power, I'm not going to have those because I'm not going to use those additional mods. I'm only going to use what's in the mod pack. So I had to figure out how am I going to get lava here to use in geothermal generators, because if GregTech is enabled, which it is on the server I play, I have to use something besides solar. And there are no compact solars anyway. So lava is a pretty good solution if you can get it here. So how do we get lava from the nether to the real world? That's the problem. I think I have a solution, but we're going to have to go to my test world to figure it out. So I will see you over there. Welcome to my test world, everybody. I'm actually reshooting this because I gave some misinformation, and it would be easier to re-record than just type it all out. So I've actually already got a working setup, and I have my test setup over here, and I'm actually going to use both of them. So I'm going to break this one for now because I don't want it to fill up the thing while we're doing this over here. So here's what we need for this. We have a liquid loader. We have a liquid unloader underneath this track right here, and we have a tank cart. This is a holding track, and there are two different types of those. There is a train holding track and a regular holding track. Functionally, I can't tell the difference. I somehow ended up with one of each, and they both do the same thing. This one, though, takes a redstone repeater to craft, and this one's just redstone dust, so it's a little cheaper. So how this works, the unloader takes the liquid out of the tank cart. It doesn't have any place to put it right now, so it's stuck. So let me go ahead and get that thing unloading, and then we'll talk about this thing over here. And I'm going to kill this for just a second because I need to show you something. So this thing has filters, and it's got some options. We're going to see when this unloads, it's going to get a redstone signal, and the holding track will boost the cart in whichever direction it was traveling when it hit the track. So we should see it take off in just a second. It's going to come here, it's going to stop at this thing, and it doesn't have anything to do. So it just tells it, go about your merry way. I don't have anything for you. It gets over to the unloader. The unloader says, you don't have anything for me. See you later. Keep on moving. This is important because this mystcraft portal makes a sound every time something goes through it. And if you have no source on the other end, or if this tank fills up, well, if the tank fills up, the cart's going to stop. But if you lose your source on the other end for some reason, the cart's going to come through here about every 8 or 9 seconds, and it can get fairly annoying. So what do? You click the top off button, and the loader is going to hold that cart until it can fill it up, which is what we want it to do. So now it has something to do. This thing, if it has, some liquid, it'll give it what it has. If you don't click the top off button, it'll give it what it has, and if it doesn't get any more in, I don't know what the time frame is, but it's usually like, I don't know, a half a second or a second or something like that. If it doesn't get more liquid from the pump, then it just sends the cart on its way half full, and that's really no good. So that is what I know basically about the loader and the unloader. So now we go to how do we apply this to our situation. And I have to say that I didn't come up with this concept. I saw it in one of Direwolf's videos, and I don't know if he did a tutorial for it. He may have done it in an episode. I happen to not see it. So I had to figure out what track he used and all that other stuff because I didn't know that much about Railcraft. So before we get into this specifically, you don't need one of these iron tanks. You can use those regular tanks, but they don't hold that much. So let's do this real quick. You can make these iron tanks in 3x3, 5x5, or 7x7. I'm not sure about the height limit. I want to say you can go up to 8 at least. It may go taller. I'm not really sure. So when you make these, the bottom is solid tank wall, and the top is, tank wall as well. And then all the corners are tank wall. So the 3x3, your corners, your top, and your base, they're all tank wall. Your 5x5, same thing. And then you fill in the middle with the tank gauge, which is this stuff. You don't necessarily need a valve. You can still put stuff in this tank or take stuff out of the tank, but if you want to do it with a Buildcraft pipe, you have to do it with a valve. And when you make the valve, you get 4. When you craft it, you get 4 of them, but you really only need 1 per tank, maybe 2 if you're going to input and output. So you're going to end up with a couple extra, which you can either put on the other 2 sides or whatever. Now on the 5x5, you can actually put the valves next to each other. So that's no big deal. You could put them on the same side if you want. I mean, you could put 6 on one side. I mean, it'll still make the tank. I don't know what you would do with 6, but if you notice that block was just there, let me drop a couple more. It actually won't make the tank if there's anything inside it, even a person. So if I'm inside it right now, this isn't a tank because I'm inside it. So make sure that no blocks fall inside if you're building it. But I mean, you can make valves on this whole thing. Now, the incorrect information I gave, I thought, well, one of them, I thought that you had to put the valve on one of the bottom 2 sections of where the gauge goes. So this one's not a very good example because there are only 2 vertical sections. This one's a better example. The video I saw, the dude said you had to put the valve right here or it wouldn't work. Well, I put one up there just for the hell of it, and this thing still works just fine. So obviously that was incorrect information, or the mod developer changed something. So your valve just has to go somewhere in the gauge section. It just can't go anywhere a tank wall would go, if that makes sense. So just to show you the difference, this one is 3x4 and that one is 3x3x4. That one's 5x5x4. This holds 576,000 and this one's like 1,600,000. Quite a difference. This one is about half of that, maybe a little less than half. So that's a lot of stuff. Every 1,000 is a bucket. So this is 720 buckets of lava. This one is 1,600. Is that right? Sorry, I'm really tired. My math is failing right now. And I just bumped the mic to boot. Rookie mistake. 1,600 buckets of lava. I don't know what it takes to fill a geothermal generator, probably like 20, but this lasts a really long time. So now let's get into the specifics of this. What I've got my unloader, I've got my waterproof pipe, I've got my tank. This is the holding track, of course, like we said, and that is a mystcraft portal. So how I did this was I laid some track, and you can do this with less, but I made it a little longer for tutorial purposes so it's easier to see. So basically I stood right here and I made a link book, And then I went to the nether. In the nether, I stood right here and made a link book. So what happens is the cart goes on the track, hits the loader, gets filled with lava, goes through the portal, hits the unloader, fills up the tank, and then it goes back through the nether, and it keeps going until the tank is full. And once the tank is full, we saw over here, the cart just sits there. So the cart's going to sit here until it empties. So let's say we fill this tank up, then our generators take some lava. Well, then the full cart sitting here goes, oh, well, here, take my lava, and then it goes and gets more. So it's kind of like a bat box. You know, you let it fill up, and then when you drain it, it fills up more, and you just keep doing that. So let's put our tank cart back on here. When I made this, I did not know which way the cart was going to go when it came through the portal. So my solution to that was, let's put a powered rail or a booster rail, whatever it's called, and a block, because if the cart comes through and goes the wrong way, it'll hit the block and it'll bounce back and go the way that we want it to go. That actually comes in really handy in the nether, and we'll see that in a minute. It actually goes the wrong way. The reason, I believe, hold on, stupid phone call. The reason I believe the cart, say it's going west when it goes through the portal, it's going to continue going west when it goes through, when it goes through on this end. That doesn't happen for us as a player because our link book tells us which way we're facing when we go through the portal. But I believe the minecart will still try to go west, which is this way, which it can't go. So, the Minecraft minecart rules, if it hits the track, it'll go whichever way. So it goes this way, hits the booster, and then gets kicked back. So let me put this thing on the cart on the other end. Actually, let's put it right here. We'll watch it go. And it's going to fill up with lava here. I have peat engines, which they get hot and have to cool down or they run out of peat, so they're not very good for this. Redstone engines, once they get heated up, they actually keep up with this, so they do a pretty good job in my experience. The SMP server I've been playing on, that's what I'm using right now. I actually have it running right now while I'm recording. I got a couple world anchors, and the thing should be about full right now. So that's through the other end. It's going to unload, and when it comes through this side, we'll see it. It's going to go to the left on the track, hit the little booster rail, and then get kicked back to the right. So you don't necessarily need that booster and that block right there if you already know which way your cart's going to go. But like I said, when I made this, I wasn't sure, and I kind of did it as I went through the first draft or whatever of the tutorial, so I had no idea. So that's basically the deal. You need a pump to pump your liquid, you need some engines to run the pump, a little bit of waterproof pipe, you got your liquid loader on this side, a portal, which doesn't have to be this shape, I always say that. It doesn't have to be this size. I guess shape too. I mean, it has to all connect, but it can be 7 blocks wide or 9 blocks tall or whatever. Probably one block gap. I make it too tall just so I can go through it too. Beware though, if you're on a 1 block thick or a 1 block floor. Remember the old bug when you got out of your minecart, sometimes you'd fall through the floor? Well, if your minecart stops right there and that's where your thing is, you'll fall through the floor. And I died in lava earlier. I lost a backpack, a drill. There's something called a rock, what's it called? I just discovered this. A rock cutter. It's like Silk Touch. It's awesome. It's a little slower than a drill, but it's totally worth it. So I lost one of those, a chainsaw, a drill, a backpack, a bunch of stuff. I was pissed. So be careful of that. But basically that's it. So As I said, you don't necessarily need this kind of a tank to start. You just need some sort of liquid tank, or a bunch of them. You're going to need a little bit of track. You don't necessarily need the boosters, though they're not a bad idea. You're going to need a holding track, a liquid unloader, a liquid loader, and a tank cart. So that is it. You're going to need the portals. Those are easy. I'm not going to really get into that because that's like something totally different. It's pretty easy. You get your crystals. You make a book receptacle. That's what it's called. There it is. Book receptacle. I'll show you the recipe just because, even though you can look it up yourself. There it is. That's a book receptacle. You make your book, you right click to put it in it. It's pretty straightforward. So that's it. It's not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. It was just a matter of figuring out what did what. So that's going to do it. Hopefully this is done before midnight because tomorrow is the drawing for the giveaway, and then I don't know what. I'm ready for Red Power. I'm ready to get going for real. So if you have any suggestions, please tell me because I'm going to really build this in a real world because I love geothermal energy, and the nether has too much lava not to like take as much as you can. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I don't know the answer, I will look it up or figure it out and let you know. So thank you very much for watching the world download. I promise somebody will be in the description, and I will see you tomorrow for the giveaway.